Hello. Good afternoon, South Africa. Good evening, Cambodia. You watching Pepper's Echo. My name's Andre, and welcome to the stream where we just chat about everything and anything from the ordinary man in the street from the outside looking in. No massive research, no massive cluedness. We try and keep to basically playing the questions and maybe a few views and opinions, which are easily swung. So, welcome to the show. For those of you watching live, thank you very much indeed. For those of you who are watching on the rerun, I tip my hat to you. Thank you very much, sir, madam, for actually watching. I really appreciate it. I do apologize if something looks a little bit skew. I'm a little bit late because I've been trying to get this camera sorted out, but yes, hopefully it will do. All that I can ask is please like and subscribe. It's the only way that I get my channel's news and views out. And yeah, they seem to be dropping. I haven't dropped any more this week, so I'm assuming I didn't offend anyone in the process. But if I do, well, I can't place everything out there. I do have views which I like to keep at. And yeah, if you do have yours, I have no problem at all. I have quite happily taken on views. I'll quite happily share them as well. Then again, if you have anything that you would like me to chat about, that you would like me to discuss, I was supposed to actually get hold of Pastor Coral this week. My fault, I have not got hold of him this week. I do apologize. I will be getting hold of him to actually have a live chat with him as well. And then we'll try and see if we can get a couple of ordinary people in the street to have a live chat with them as well. If we can get a couple of name brands, not a problem at all. But if you have anything that you would like me to chat about, me to look at, me to put on the show, it doesn't have to be political, doesn't have to be South African, doesn't have to be Cambodian. It can be anything. I have changed a lot in the show, especially last week and the week before. I've been thinking, wow, there's so much political shows going out there all the time. I called South Africa this way. Loving Life throws like it's a clay lot. It's a whole bunch of mud being slung all over the place. I've got Morning Shot, and I watch Morning Shot every day. Please do not let me get you wrong. I really always push you over and say to you, take a look at shows like Ronaldo Gous. Really, really good. What a super chap. We've had him on the show before as well. And man, what a down-to-earth, genuine person that is. I couldn't encourage you more than to watch his show, usually on a Sunday night. I don't know if he's going to be on this Sunday. I think he is this Sunday. He wasn't on Friday, and he didn't have a members on Saturday. He did have one last Thursday, but I know he went away to the farm this weekend. Very well done. If you watched this at all, Ronaldo, I hope you had a absolute superb weekend at the farm. Then, of course, there is Morning Shot that I watch, which is Ramon Cabernac, and he does an absolute brilliant job of summing up and analyzing the news for you. It is one of my best and favorite ways of keeping in contact or up to date with the proper and real news in South Africa. I watch that, and I actually swear by it more than what I would swear by E-News or the SABC News. Definitely give that a shot if you have not. And then, of course, somebody who has extreme knowledge, covers everything that is in South Africa as well. Chris Wyatt, check him out. Chris Wyatt, Indaba Africa. Chris Wyatt, really an intelligent chap from, he's retired Army Colonel, but he was based, I know, in Africa and all over the place. He has also very humble nature and has an extreme I should say resume behind him. We actually, after being asked so many times by people, because he didn't want to do it, and eventually he did it to actually hand out and show all his achievements and that, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And you can't believe that someone like that would be so down to earth. Getting to my story still today as well. And then, of course, there is Joe Emilio, the Joe Show. I think Joe Emilio, he does some really entertaining stuff as well. Also on the ground and all over the place. Quite enjoy El Joe. I have missed a couple this week. This week has been unbearably busy. And yeah, as you know, I've had a few shockers and stunners from last week on. I can tell you that, as I said, there was good things. I was actually offered work at another school for a good remuneration, if I can put it that way. And I had decided, and when I spoke to you last Sunday night, I decided that I was leaving. And the next morning, I actually got to speak to superintendents and directors at school, which in a different way had convinced me to stay and have and I hope to sort of update you more, because I don't want to say more than what this is at the moment, but it definitely gave me an open door to more opportunities which just have been flowing into my life. I'm very, very grateful for all of this, which actually boils down to what I'm actually going to be talking about. Because last time I sat and I chatted about it, and we just gave a good old chat and look at. We said, well, why am I here? Why am I in where I am? And I said to you, I wanted to be in New Zealand or some great first world country. You know what? This was where I was going to go, and I'm in Cambodia, and it's not the jewel of the world or anything, yeah, but it is where I need to be. And as I said to you last time, and the whole conversation last week boiled down to, you are where you are because that's exactly where you should be. And sometimes you're called to take care of different things to what you expect. So like, oh, well, I'm up in Africa, or I'm up in Cambodia, I need to be a missionary. Sometimes you're not there to look after the local people. Sometimes you're there to be a friend, to be a shoulder. You don't have to be a minister to everybody, but sometimes you're there just to be able to be there for foreigners, for friends, for people who are also as lost as what you are from another country. But I'm not going to repeat that again. If you want to hear it, check out last week. It's really, really good. This week, I actually wanted to actually pull up and say, you know what? So we're here. So, Andre, aren't you a little bit pissed that you're here? Because you're here not because you want to be here, but it's where you should be, where you have to be. You're not where you are because you want to be there, because you have to be there. And aren't you a little bit, just chizzed off at that? You're in a third world country, and I can run off a couple of different things to you. There's garbage in the street, as in South Africa, probably a little bit more over here. I would say South Africa may be a little bit more Americanized, westernized. If you, I wouldn't even say Europeanized. I would say Americanized, westernized in that sense. So, yeah, when the ANC and the EFF hollow their little weak, spineless, hollow echoes of colonialism, South Africa is far from colonial. It's probably a little bit more westernized than anything else in the sense of Americanized. So there's you have you take a look at McDonald's, there's a Burger King, there's a KFC, the malls, everything runs. I mean, if you come from the UK or the Europe to South Africa, you have more likely experience of experiencing, you are more likely, my apologies, to experience an America than what you are likely to experience Europe. So when you go to South Africa and you go, oh, this is what Britain is like. No, I don't think so. Or this is what Europe is like. Europe is a little bit different to that. South Africa is more westernized in the American style type of thing, which isn't a bad thing. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you take a look, where I am in Cambodia, it's very, very much more Asian. South Africa's just got a real backwards government at the moment. I wouldn't say they're American at all. Not that America's got a great government at the moment. Biden sucks eggs, but anyway. South Africa is terrible. I mean, if we just take a look before I carry on with gratitude, I know one of the highlights of this week has been Papa Smurf being dismissed from the ANC. Yeah. Carl Knobnose Nias, he has been chucked out of the ANC for deciding to sue. He will sue for the people that weren't being paid, and for back pay, and for not paying UIF and things like that. And then he went, no, this is my own personal capacity. And the ANC said, listen, Mr. Luthuli, Speaker, you know what? You think you're a big knob, but you're actually a pimple on the ANC's arse. So what we're going to do is just squeeze you right out. And exactly what they did. They squeezed him right out. You can't do that. And then he went, no, I'm on a personal capacity. They said, look, you know what? You've said enough slander towards the ANC. You've done enough. You're out of here. Of course, he's still got his like Ace Magashule supporters and his Zuma supporters, but say what you like. You know what? They're history. They're history now. They are definitely the weights that dragged South Africa to the bottom of the sea. We've got to start trying to look up, even though we've still got a lot of garbage to look up through when you look at there's still the ANC in power as such. And then the other one is old Zooms. President Zuma, ex-President Jacob Zuma, who's been paroled from jail on health issues. He basically, I'm sure, he's done is made a quick phone call to old Shabir and said, yo, Shabs, what was the excuse you used? And old Shabir said, no, just write this down. And he said, cool, see you for golf on Sunday. Because next thing he was, and it wasn't I don't think it was the prison board that paroled him or something like that. Oh man, who is it? The warden or whatever paroled him on health issues due to some other way. It wasn't the health board that actually paroled him, or the prison board as such. It's a conniving situation that we have there. Just taking a look quickly across, and these are all things that we see every day. Broke ANC starts paying workers after 3 months. Despite receiving millions from donors, the governing party has for months been battling to pay workers who resorted to pickets and then downed tools. This is our government in power. I mean, in any country, and I mean in the country previously, if you were a government worker, you were so secure it was just not funny. You were guaranteed payment. In South Africa, only the top dogs care about their back pockets. You got 3 women killed outside KwaZulu-Natal. School-wide ANC branch meeting underway inside. Sibanya wants to tap green metals boom as gold deals lack value. Cyril gave green light for Zuma parole. COVID-19 Pfizer jab approved for use of children aged 12 and older. What's your views on that? Drop it into the comments. I really, really wouldn't mind actually catching a comment on that, because, some people are downright petrified of taking the vaccination. Some are pro-vaccination. Then they are downright petrified of children getting the vaccination. I must say, I've looked at it. I'm pro-vax. I've had my vax, and we're actually looking at booster shots now already. We've had them so long ago. In Cambodia, it has not been such a problem as it seems to have been in South Africa, where there are just tons and tons of people shouting against it. It's become a boil on a bum, if I can put it that way. My most disappointing, and I will say it, is Ramkatse. I used to have quite a lot of time and respect for this man, and he's gone into one of those. You know what? I'll call him a white EFF, because he can't think straight for himself. He's visioned and viewed on no, you won't, and it's all dangerous, and he's just whipping people up about it, and every post that there is, see, I told you it's wrong there, and see this and this person saying that, and then he's got someone who's reading out something that they can hardly read, but we have rights, and daar gaat hy weer, daar klap hy weer. And this is a person who said that he felt attacked by people that were vaccinated. I feel more attacked by people like him who are anti-vaxxers. and he's supposed to have had the like, oh, you know what, it's a, you know, one for all, etc., etc. How's it, Cameron? Great to hear you. It's first time. Thank you very much, Cameron. I really appreciate it indeed. I hope I'm not going to bore you too much, because I know you watch Ronaldo and he's really, really super. So thank you very much. Take a look. Did you see the breaking news where a truck was stopped on the way to Cape Town? 106 bodies with Rona. No, I did not see that. That is absolutely, absolutely bone shaking, that. Man, no, that is absolutely hectic. You see, these are things I still got to catch up onto, and that, and I'll probably get it from Ronaldo or from Chris or people like you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching. But I was going back on to my point of view, and what I feel, and I feel Romkat is just like ramming this anti-vax thing down. I'll give you 100 reasons of why you should be, and there's 100 reasons of why you shouldn't be. You as a person need to make that decision. I'm not going to tell you why, and I'm not going to tell you must. I'm not going to tell you mustn't. All I'm saying is, if you do accept the consequences for it, and if you don't accept the consequences for it, and they're ours to decide on, but we cannot expect the world to bend around us as well. If we need to have it to travel, you either travel where you don't need it, or you get it so that you can travel where you need to. It is what it is. Children, that's a bit of a query at the moment. I have a large query when it comes to children. In Cambodia, I think they've close on 1 million children, 12 to 17, have been vaccinated. Bam. There is actual no problem in Cambodia when it comes to being vaccinated. It was like, everybody will, that's it. Okay, we're going back to school. Bam, 12. The teachers in that are still teaching from home. I still go to work. I'm not a teacher, I'm the primary principal there, but still the teachers are teaching from home. We expect probably in this week that the high school will be coming back, and because they are vaccinated, all the teachers had to be vaccinated. I mean, if we would like to keep our jobs. Simple reason why. Let me give you a reason why. About 70 to 75% of the parents, if not more, this is just what they could contact on, said they would not return their children to a school where the teachers were not vaccinated. Now, if we lost 75% of our income, our teachers would probably suffer the most as well. But once again, as I said, I do believe it is your own right. So please, but don't slap anyone. Don't keep on shoving media in my face. I'm not going to shove media into your face and give you 100 reasons why. I'll find it on the internet. You can, for those same 100 reasons why, you can find 100 reasons why not from educated people on the internet. It really, really, really isn't a difficult thing to find what you're looking for these days. These days, anything in life, I know the book The Secret or something like that, is you get what you look for. You get what you look at. And this is something that I found in Cambodia as well. This is what I wanted to say to you guys. I'm not really doing much of news in that today because I haven't prepped. I've actually had a very good friend of ours, and they're all still here. If you've watched the Motley Mix, you would have seen them as well. Well, she wasn't on today, but Divan and Supir, it is Supir's birthday today. So we've been having a wonderful birthday day, and I have stayed very, very non-alcoholic drinking so that I can do the stream straight, so I'm not slurring down the side. Cameron's got something up there. I'm not anti-vax. I just have a massive fear of needles. Cameron, you and me both, bud. Last time I had flu vax, I was 15, and I don't shove a vax stuff down people's throat. Yeah, I agree. Look, I've taken the vax for COVID. I feel it is necessary, especially in the career that I'm in teaching, in being schools, working with children, to keep my job. I agree 100%. I am terrified of needles. Let me give you a story of how badly terrified I am of needles. There was a time when I was in South Africa, and I got my wife. I was very run down, and so we got vitamin B injections from the doc, and he said, "Well, yeah, we go. There's I think I had a set of 12 for 12 every week. I had to get injections, so he gave me 12 vials." And I went down to the chemist and I got the 12 vials. I got 12 syringes and I got 24 needles. This is how afraid I am of a needle. One needle was to puncture the vial to actually draw the liquid up. But by then I decided it has now blunted the needle enough to create a bit of trauma. So then take off that needle and put a new one on, and then my wife could inject me there as well. That's my stress on needles. I must say I was pleasantly surprised. I look away. I look like a 10-year-old kid when I'm getting an injection, although I have had them. But I must say I was pleasantly surprised. It was very small and not felt. And I must say we had the Chinese version, the Sinovac, and I'm really hoping that my booster shot will be the AstraZeneca or something like that. Just it does seem to have a higher percentage efficiency compared to the Sinovac. But I must say, pleasantly surprised that it wasn't something feeling, and I felt fine the days after. The best I can say is we had one chap who said his stomach wasn't well the next morning, but he came to school the afternoon. So I don't know if he just felt it was a good excuse to have it off. Otherwise, all the teachers were fine the next day. I have heard of one or two people that I know of that have maybe felt headachy and nauseous and that for a day or two. As I said, 3 days and it's done. They tell you not to drink alcohol for 3 days, no heavy lifting, no seafood. That's what the guy just kept on mentioning it to me. But that's not as bad as the amount of people that I've had close to me that have passed due to COVID. So my veins fall flat when they want to. Exactly, same thing. I can relate to you 100%. It takes them 30 minutes to find a vein, draw blood. So my body also has a reaction. Yes, you know what? 100%. And that's why I don't do blood. I'll try and show you. If you look at my arms as well, you will see I don't have veiny arms or anything like that. And as well, you bring a needle to me, everything just goes. I have the same issue there. I don't know if you can see my wrists. There's not really a vein. You can see a little bit of a vein, but it also goes away. And then the top of my hand. Sometimes when they have to draw blood, they've got to go in at the wrist or on the top of my hand because they can't find over there. And I believe it. That's a true thing. Your veins do fall flat. And I think it's an anxious thing or anxiety thing. From needles, I don't do blood donation. I know it's very, very important. I just cannot take the fact of somebody putting a needle the size of a hose pipe into my arm. And then the best is if they can't find it. And Cameron, I think your experience with the injections or needles has been a similar effect where they start digging around. They start digging around in your arm. It's absolutely not great at all. But yeah, I'm not going to carry on about the jab, but I don't, you know what, if you do, you do, you're my buddy. If you don't, you don't, you're my buddy. All I'm saying is, guys, let's just not hold people responsible for our decisions. It's like the first time we got to the school and the school said, well, you know what, 75% of these kids' parents are not going to come back. And you know what, you got about a 10% that said, yeah, no, it's not a problem. And the rest are like, we're not sure. I mean, even vaccinated, we still run probably about 60-70% coming back, with about a 25% unsure, and 5% saying they'd like to stay online for now at the moment first. Those will come back, and then they will, the unsure will come back. But only one of the biggest things that they've got in question is, are your teachers vaccinated? It's not that it doesn't, and I know a lot of people say, well, it doesn't prevent it. No, it doesn't prevent it, but it does mitigate dying. And I'm quite happy with my chances. If there's 5 of us that have to eat 1,000 jelly beans, and they say to me, 20 of these jelly beans will kill you. But if you take this vaccination, only 5 of them will probably kill you. I'd take my chances on bringing those down by 15 jelly beans. And most likely, you're not going to get one of those 20. But if I take the vaccine, I'm more likely not going to get one of the 5. But yeah, we are going to end up with them. So I don't want to shove it down anyone's throat. As I said, you're my buddy if you do, you're my buddy if you don't. I am totally cool with that. I just, I just want to encourage people to be peaceful. And this is why I didn't want to make this one such a newsworthy report today and go through it, because I haven't put a lot of news together. It's just, as I said, I'll pop a Smurf. That was troll polls. I haven't seen anything. Let's just see. You said there was a truck on 106. Let me take that off so it doesn't look like that. 106 Cape. No, you said there was... I don't know why I put 105, but let's take a look, see. Let's take a look at that. There it is right there, guys. Truck transporting 106 corpses was overloaded, says Western Cape Transport MEC. The Western Cape Health Department says it was, let me get into it a little bit. It was awaiting final confirmation on whether the more than 100 corpses found in a truck that was stopped at a weighbridge in Somerset West on Saturday were those of people who died of COVID-19. Department spokesman Mark van Heerden said Undertaker's truck was stopped by traffic officials. It was found that all the paperwork to transport the bodies to the Eastern Cape for cremation was in order. As a result, the Undertaker was allowed to continue his journey. With 106 bodies, guys. Van der Heever added that the department did not anticipate any risk to the public as the necessary permits were presented to the traffic officials. It's almost like, I don't want to sound hard, but it's almost like the plague, where they used to go out with the wagons and load the plague on the people from the plague on them. It's pretty hectic. Transport and Public Works MEC Dylan Mitchell told News 24 the officers stopped the truck at the Somerset Weighbridge on the N2 in Somerset West on Saturday afternoon when it was discovered that the truck was overloaded. The driver informed the officer he was transporting dead bodies to the Eastern Cape. Mitchell said the provincial traffic officials immediately closed the weighbridge, handed the site over to the department and the police for further investigation. Police spokesman Colonel Andre Trout confirmed the police officers were on the scene to investigate. We are probing the circumstances under which the corpses were being transported. According to information, traffic officials stopped and searched the truck and found 106 bodies inside. The truck was believed to be en route to the Eastern Cape at the time. Wow. Okay, so I don't want to go through a lot more news. I actually wanted to go through something else. South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal problems inbound. I know there's a whole other thing. ANC scrambles to resolve staff salaries. I don't know what's happened, and I'm sure there has been a resolution as well. On the fact of the matter that I don't know if there has been a resolution where the court, because the ANC had missed their I think 35 applicants for the municipalities for the next voting season, and now they're wanting to move it, or else it needs to be brought in. It's hectic. It's really hectic. I I just look at this news and I look at what we're talking about, and we talk, you know what, it used to be politics, religion, and sexual orientation that you don't speak about. These days, the top thing you don't speak about is COVID. It really riles people up more than anything else. But what we need to look for is, what am I to be grateful for? What am I to be grateful for? Let me try and get that in a little bit more for you. And this is the most simple life. Top things to be grateful for. I've tried to make use of time we have had during quarantine to start learning new skills. One skill that I've found fascinating to learn about is a skill that you can learn anytime, anywhere, with tremendous potential for self-improvement. I'm talking about gratitude. Now, it's something that I have found lacks in South Africa, in Cambodia, and funnily enough, between the people that should display it the most. Talking about gratitude, simply knowing the things you should be grateful. It's true gratitude is the easiest skill you can learn. Research shows gratitude makes you happier. So if you're unhappy, have you actually, what they usually say is, counted your blessings? Top things to be grateful for, other things, and the surprising benefits. If we take a look here, go through everybody there. Gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. And that's Harvard Health Publishing. That's done by a university. So if you wanted to see a university, there we go. Gratitude. In positive psychology research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive. There you can go through a whole lot of gratitude stuff. Things to be grateful for. Your best friend. Your health. And people might not be healthy at this time. Comfortable home, access. I've looked at many things. I think gratitude doesn't come out of a book. Your pets, your morning tea, wow, your music or your watch list. There's a lot. Your favorite shows, hobbies. There's 60 things to be grateful for. I've gone through gratitude on a lot of things on the internet. It just some things that gratitude does do for you. It increases your personal happiness, helps you get better sleep, increases your success at work, improves our relationships, makes you healthier, increases your energy, helps us relax, and helps you live longer. So I don't know if many people want to live longer, etc., etc. There was one that I wanted to actually look at. Why should I be grateful for what I already have? And there's just, I'm not even going to go through the story. It's the story of a chap who found a lady in his store that was looking through a book, and she asked for a glass of water, and he didn't care very much. He threw the glass of water at her. He just actually wanted to carry on reading his book. And then she actually gave a life story, and she said, she's waiting for a husband. He's struggling with work. And she got to the school, and he said if she came back today, that she would get a job. And when she came back today, they'd given the job to somebody else. And he said, well, why couldn't you get a job? And he said, well, why don't you get a job somewhere else, etc., etc. And she said, I'll read the bottom part for you. I'll actually put it out there. Because, why is it so important that you have a job with a teaching job with a school, or do you work for the school? Doesn't mean a teaching job. She says, I have two girl child. If I work in a school, my children's education will be free. And with this, I will be able to take care of my children. I don't want them to be like me. I got married early because I look ugly. My education got hindered. I don't want this to happen with my children. We don't even realize in some or other way our life is far better than the course of people on this planet. Then showing gratitude towards is not even a question. We have a lot of complaints, but not a single second to be thankful for whatever we have. We value everything which we miss from our life and no place from things we possess. I look through a whole lot on the internet. Yeah, Cameron, you've got something up there. I think a personal notice that we are finding gratitude in online things like YouTubers like yourself and WhatsApp groups and people we meet on the groups than physical things. Correct. And I think I've got to point out these things because this is what happened last week when I was looking at things and I was like, whoa, well, I want to show the news and Nazis suck and whoa. And there's so many people that do this. And then I started saying, you know what, you are where you are because that's exactly where you need to be, not necessarily where you want to be. And today I want to tell you that you feel the way you feel because of what you focus on, of what you are grateful for. I have spent probably the last 2 or 3 months, I must say at least. And you know what? If you're religious, great. If you aren't, well, I'm not pointing fingers at all. But I spend my time on my tuk-tuk on the way to school. I listen to a little daily piece, daily speaking, whatever. And then after that, I start counting my blessings and I start thanking for everything that I'm grateful for. And I take a look because a lot of people look around and I know there's so many more broken people than me in this world at this very time and moment, in South Africa, in a country I love, in Cambodia, in a country that's been so good to me. And I'm so grateful that I have a work, that I actually at my age actually still have a career going for me, that I have a wife who loves me, that still does things for me, that still cares for me. It doesn't matter what, that I have friends, that I have such good friends. I can count them on my one hand, sure. But I have good friends that I can count on my one hand, that I can actually say are good friends. And we spend quite a bit of time together. And sometimes we don't need to go places. We just spend time together. I'm grateful that we are able to enjoy each other's company and don't have to always find something to do. I go through this gratitude. I'm grateful. Yeah, I've still got my mom left. I have a cousin and his wife, who's quite a bit older than me because I was a Laat Lammetjie, who passed away 2 days from each other in COVID. She passed away the Wednesday, he passed away the Thursday. Bam. The children, my age, a little bit younger, one's older, lost their both parents like that. There's people in this country who are sitting without work because of COVID. This country relies so much on tourism. There's people in South Africa that are sitting without work because of things that have closed down, economies, things like that. I am so grateful that I'm in a country where I can still. Your wife, yeah, I'm going to put it up there. Having a wife is very important. It is such a support structure, having a loving wife. I agree. I think life would be easier if I had someone, but dating is impossible nowadays because where do you meet? It's exactly what somebody asked the other day. Where do you go and meet people? Do you have to go online and meet it through technically? It's so much nicer. And where do you meet people these days? When you can't go out. I agree. I've got a friend or two that are teachers at work and they're alone and they've been here for many more years than me. I mean, we've only been here about 3 years. But I must say, especially with somebody who's as anxious as what I am, sometimes that calmness and direction, I always say, I can't get anything right. My wife can't get anything right. Together, we can't fail, though. And you're right. I'm grateful for that because having that extra bit of that partner, just it cuts that piece of loneliness that you feel sometimes. I have 2 little Chihuahua dogs. You've seen the paparazzi. I've shown them to you a couple of times on the show, from when they were little dinky toys to where they've grown a little bit now, and I'll probably bring them on next time again. But I look at that. I look at Cambodia, which is a war-torn country, but it's building itself up into another country. But there's still rubbish all over the place. The roads flood because there's rubbish and things. The streets are flooded with shops. They actually, because I was looking for a place to stay, they actually have, they sell shop houses. That's one of the biggest sellers here is shop houses. And it's like a garage gate at the bottom where you open up where you've got your shop and then your living area above it. Shop houses are a big thing. They build them like condominiums next to shop houses. You can live above your shop, and then you know, and yes, there's rubbish in the roads, and there's great poverty, and there's also great richness. People can also be very kind over here. I was looking at the ratings, and I think number one is Portugal, the friendliest place for expats. Then Singapore, then Mexico, then Cambodia. So I'm fortunate to be in there. Life is less stressful for us here. Where we used to work from, we'd be up and out of the house just after 6 to get to work by 6:30, 7, and you won't finish work until about 7 the next morning. Not next morning, the next evening. Public holidays, weekends, you'd work. Yeah, I work 7:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. I'm off public holidays. I'm able to afford things. My wife opened the fridge the other day. She said, wow, we're so blessed. We would never have had this amount of fruit in our fridge. So, you know what? The biggest thing to me is you don't have to have money to be grateful. But I have friends that I can count on my one hand that I am more grateful for than a rugby field full of people. I have a one-bedroom apartment that we are so happy in. Now, my wife and myself and my 2 kids, that's the paparazzi, 2 chihuahuas that we live in. And I love those 2 dogs because it doesn't matter if I've been away for 2 to 3 hours or if I've been away the whole day at school. When I get back, they are the happiest beings on the face of this earth to see me. I have a tuk-tuk driver who hits every single bump in the road, and all my organs change position within my body. But I am so grateful for that man who is waiting for me every day, drops me off at school every day, and picks me up without doubt every day for his few dollars a week that I pay him to do that. School, I'm grateful for teachers, grateful for opportunities. Just I don't have a medical aid at the moment, which we are seriously looking at getting. And I'll tell you one day, I'll maybe talk about what I looked at and where I got and the different options that were given to me as an expat. But I have not been ill that I've had to throw so much out at medical expenses. And everyone says, well, don't say that. Don't jinx yourself. No. Be grateful for it, because what you see and what you do is what you'll get. So I spend this time going to work in the morning, and I look at these things and I say, Andre, you know what? You have a wife, you have friends, you have work, you have food on the table, you have a lovely place to stay. And we do stay in a nice place. It's not like a crappy one-bedroom flat. We have a nice one in a nice building and everything to that effect. And hopefully we will get a little house one of these days, and then we can really have a good time. But up until then, we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate. All we need to do is look around us at the right things and look at people. You know what? Loneliness is an old person whose family and friends have forgotten about him or have no family and friends left over. But it's not only old people that are lonely, it's young people as well. I count myself young, 49, and I'm young. But even younger than me, Cameron just mentioned it. Wife is important. But how do you get to meet someone in this day and age? How do you get to find friends? How do you go out to meet friends? Let's get another one there. Andre, you'll find that when you don't have a medical aid, you tend to stay healthy and not need to see doctors as much. I've not had a medical aid since 2010. Yeah, myself. I was trying to put one together. Okay, no, I lie. I did have one in 2016 to 2018 when I was working for Outdoor Warehouse. But yes, you tend to look after yourself, and you're fortunate. And we take it for granted. You know what? There's simple things in life that we need to be grateful for. And I know it is easy said when it's happening, because right now there's so much just happening for me. And I'm just like, you know what? I am Christian. So, I mean, I turn around and say, Lord, I I don't know what I did. I'm an insignificant number, but thank you very much. But you know what? Whoever the God is that you pray to, or if you don't, just, taking a look at it, it's, I'm as old as I think I am. You guys need to pay for my education. I'm going to school tomorrow as a student. No, but it's just that there's so many simple things in life. And I know it's easier said when it's coming, but if you believe and you look and you're grateful, suddenly you have more. Just because you're actually grateful for what you have. Suddenly life does not weigh on your shoulders. You know what? When I can actually have a plate of food every night, I take it for granted. I'm like grumpy. When my missus doesn't bring me food soon, we're not eating tonight or something. But wow. And as Cameron said, yeah, you find I haven't had a medical aid for quite a long time, all 3 years in a foreign country. Something happens to me, I'm toast. They don't have the best doctors, not because they have bad doctors, but because in the genocide time from up to 79, 80, all the intelligent people were the people that were wiped out. You know what? If you had soft hands, if you wore glasses, if you were studied, if you anything like that, you were wiped out. And I wouldn't say they left with dregs, but they were left with very unskilled, unemployed, and I wouldn't say intellectual, but as I said, uneducated, that had to now build up in this country. And it's going well. I mean, we go and see a doctor. I've been to a doctor for my ear, and at school we fortunately got a little card that says NSSF. But if we just start being grateful for the basics, if we just start saying, you know what, my heart wants to get heavy when I go to work, and I think, oh man, I've got to deal with all this trouble today again, and I've got to deal with that, and I've got to deal with these complaints. Because at school, funnily enough, the teachers that should be grateful, especially the foreigners, have entitlement issues and arrogance issues. And I think to myself, can we not see the gratitude in this? We've been through COVID. People have lost their work at schools. Schools have closed down. People have had salaries cut. Even us, last year, we had our salary cut to half day, half pay for 3 months. It went that hectic. And they were back up again after that. But still, not a month has passed where we weren't paid on the day. And a good friend of mine, or not necessarily a good friend, but I would consider him a good friend as well. He looked and he said, you know what, Andre, and you know what, I have all the time in the world for this person. He actually, we have some really good deep chats, and that is a teacher with me as well. And I love his intelligence and the way that he looks at life and things. And he said to me, Andre, he said, if I can just get full day's work for one full day's pay, he says, I'll navigate the rest. And I think how many people who don't have work who feel that way, if I can get one full day's work for one full day's pay, I'll navigate the rest. But we're so busy grabbing on, I want more. I want a pad. I want the latest cell phone. And I'm talking, you know what, I'm here with using myself as an example. Sometimes I don't think I'm not Mr. Perfect. I am speaking as a student, not as a master. I'm so busy wanting things that I forget what I have. And in these last 3 months, I would say that it has embarrassed me, humbled me, at the same time to realize what I have, what I have not noticed that I have, and what I have to be thankful for. I don't own a car. And I own no transport. I haven't driven a car since March 2018. It's the last time I got behind the wheel of a car. It's just not possible over here. The traffic's hectic, cars are expensive. I've had a scooter for about 2 years when I was here. I gave that up because we're quite far away enough. The traffic is hectic. I just find that driving with a tuk-tuk to work just gives me the chance to do all these things, be grateful, and listen to my little daily piece, just arrive at work a little bit more prepared mentally. Mental illness is something, that I'd like to speak about as well as we go along, but I don't want to try and push it all out here. I mean, we can talk about this next week again. We can talk, and I'm hoping to talk about this a little bit more, is things coping in 2021, coping from 2020 to 2021. Do you know how fortunate I am? And many people who are watching and many people who haven't watched, do you know how fortunate they are? Because there's people who have pain. And I look at some people who have nothing, but they have never, ever, ever complained. I have people that would give the shirt off their backs to me. And you know what? Struggle as well, miss as well, lose as well, have suffered loss as well. And it's just amazing. And that's the people that they are. I'm talking about the person. I do not mind what religion you are or what sex or gender or whatever. That's your choice. You know what? I might burn in hell, you might burn in hell. It's your choice. I face the consequences of my decision as well. It's not that. It's the type of person you are, yeah. And I think your integrity and your morals will see you through to your netherworld as well. But I do believe if we just take that moment, I really don't spend enough time being grateful. I'm grateful that I'm grateful that I have 47 subscribers. I'm grateful for people like Cameron, Linda. Linda always watch. I know Linda won't be on this evening. I know she's got 3 weeks of night shift. These are all fantastic. I'm grateful for people like that. Someone who just, Cameron, just coming on, just posting your comments makes my day. Makes me feel, you know what, maybe I haven't wasted my time on a live stream. And I've streamed for, it's about a year now. It started September last year. And every time we diligently stream away and we start talking about news and everything. And I forget to tell you guys, you know what, how fortunate I am, how lucky I am. Not because I got any money, but because I got friends, because I got work and I've got food and I'm able to rest. I'm not in the first world country that I intended to be. If you need to see, you can watch last week's stream where I tell you what I intended to do and how I got here. But I think that we can be happier. And I felt so much happier just counting my blessings of what I have. And it doesn't come financially. Finance comes due to gratitude because you are able to perform better. You are able to achieve more because you are grateful for the things that don't cost money, for the things that don't bring you money. I mean, sure as hang, my wife doesn't bring me money. She makes it go away. But still, I'm grateful for her. No, I'm kidding. Guys, I'm not going to keep you any long. Cameron, I should just stream with some people. I hope they pop in soon. Most of Chris people. Yeah, I really would love to get Chris on as well. Cameron, thank you so much for making the show for me as well. It just gives me someone to talk to. I sometimes spend the show without anyone on. I see I've got like 5 viewers, and that makes me excited, and I'm grateful for those 5 viewers. Now, I'm not saying you've got to walk around and go, well, I'm grateful for this air, I'm grateful for the pavement, I'm grateful for the shoe, but just, you know what, develop a heart of gratitude and not an attitude. Should I say an attitude of gratitude? Because people walk around with this entitlement, and that's what stops us from shaking hands. That's what stops us from smiling at each other. That's what stops us from being there from each other. That's what stops us from just letting us go with our potential, to let us go forward. What a wonderful world we live in. What a complicated world we live in. What a mad world we live in. What a beautiful world we live in. And I'll end off with a story that I've said before. You might not be able to change the world or make a difference to the world, but you can be part of the difference. There was 2 stories. I keep on forgetting the one little picture of the dog that says, you might not be able to change the world for all the dogs, but the one that you adopted, you changed the world for. Last story is little girl walking on the beach, and it was high tide, and it threw out a whole lot of thousands and thousands of starfish, and she was throwing the starfishes back into the sea, throwing them back into the sea. And old man sitting on the bench said, he says, little girl, he says, you can stop that now. He says, not going to make a difference. And she picked up another starfish and she threw it into the sea, and she said, you know what? Made a difference for that one. So guys, thanks, Cameron. I really, really appreciate your support and for being on. You know what? and I've seen you around on everybody else's as well. So great stuff. Thank you. And for everybody else that's watched, I really appreciate. Be the difference, and it doesn't cost money. Gratitude. Be grateful. Count 3 things. I started with very, very few. And man, oh man, I cannot tell you how my life has definitely changed for me. I have bad days too still. I suffer from depression, anxiety. I'm not your everyday strong man, bully dude, or whatever. Love you guys. Look after yourselves. Take care. Thank you so very much for being on. Who we got there? Susie Matwetwe. Hello, gorgeous. Thanks, Doc. Susie Matwetwe. You just caught me in at the end. Not sure who it is there. We'll try. Thank you very much, Cameron. I so much appreciate it. I'm on South African time, 2:00 on a Sunday. And I've also asked, if I should change the times, please let me know. Just remember, I'm 5 hours ahead. So it's 7:00 on a Cambodian time. So if you want me to do it at Ronaldo time, I usually catch Ronaldo on the rerun. And because it's 1:00 in the morning, sometimes I do stay up late or whatever. But catch those guys as well. They absolutely stand up. Chris White, Ronaldo Gous, Morning Shot, also wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you very, very much to all you guys. Be good. And take care. And as they say, if you can't be good, I've got one last one. Yes, would be great, Susie. Would be great. But my last saying is, if you can't be good, at least be kind. Take care. God bless.